All right. Real quick, let's look at how we're going to approximate logs without using a calculator. Okay. Now, the problem that we're going to run into, or not really a problem, the opportunity that we're going to run into in AP or dual enrollment chemistry is that if you're taking the AP test, you can't use a calculator on the multiple choice part. And there are logarithms on the multiple choice part. So we need to know how to approach a logarithm problem and have a plan to deal with that without using our calculator. So if you have a simple log, one that's a log base 10, then use this. We know that the log of 100 is 10 to the x, right? X is whatever we would raise 10 to get 100. So in this case, it would be 10, right? And so we can just solve that. Get rid of the log, say 10 to the x equals 100. Now, when you put this into your calculator, obviously you don't get 10 to the x. Obviously, you get 10. So if you put in log of 100 into your calculator, you get 10. What this number is the x right here. It's what you raise 10 to get this starting number. So if it's a log base 10, that's simple. 10 to the x gives me whatever's in parentheses, and we can solve it. Now, I feel like you guys are pretty capable of doing that. That's not something that's new. But we do have some logs that don't involve base 10, like pH. And so here's what we use to approximate logs for pH calculations. And mainly we just use this for pH. But basically, we know the pH equation is the negative log of the concentration of hydrogen, right? So when we're looking at the concentration of hydrogen, it's usually a small number. So we get, some number between 1 and 10 times 10 to the negative variable. And in this approximation that we're going to learn how to do today, we need to know that m is a number between 1 and 10, and n is some integer, some exponent integer there. Now, here's what you got to put in your brain, right? When you're taking the AP test, the math does not have to be perfect, all right? Do not let perfect be the enemy of good. So you only have to get close enough to select the right answer. This is a skill in science, right? We want to be able to approximate a logarithm, all right, without having to punch everything into a calculator all the time. So we just need to be close enough to get the right answer. So let's take this information and let's see how we use it. Get a little ahead of myself there. So when I'm looking at this logarithm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the logarithm is approximately, all right, n minus 0.m. That's what I'm going to use. So I have this logarithm here, this pH, all right, calculation. pH equals, the negative log of 3 times 10 to the negative fifth. What's the pH? All right, well, n is 5. That's my integer, right? It's m times 10 to the negative n. So negative 5 right there. I'm going to drop the negative. I'm just going to use the integer. And I'm going to subtract 0.m. So in this case, 0.3. And that's going to give me 4.7. That is a close enough of an approximation to get it right. Now, if we grab a calculator, and let's see if we can plug this in. Oh, there's a calculator right there. So if we do negative log 3 times 10 to the negative fifth, we get 4.522. So the actual answer from the calculator gives us 4.5228. Okay. Is that close enough to where we should be able to get the right answer? Well, I would say yes. All right. The AP test is not going to give you 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. All right. That's not what they're there to do. So this is close enough. Let's try this one. All right. Again, n minus 0.m. So 9 minus 0.71. That's going to give us 8.29. All right. Let's plug it in. Let's see what we get when we do it in the calculator. We get 7.1 times 10 to the negative ninth. That gives us 8.15. 8.15 is the actual answer. So our approximations are pretty close. Let's do one more. All right, again, you just need to know m and n, and we're doing n minus 0.m. That's what we're doing there. So we get 2 minus 0.25, which hopefully you know is 1.75. That's our approximation. All right, and if we plug this into the calculator, we get 2.5 times 10 to the negative 2, and we get 1.602. So this is how we're going to deal with logarithms, all right, when we don't have a calculator. Just remember n minus 0.m for our logarithm. All right, if you have a question about this, let me know. I'll be glad to give you guys a hand.